Chapter 1. The end of the chase. I saw them before they saw me. Leona in a satin green dress. Daniel in his usual smug black suit. Her hand wrapped around his arm like nothing had happened between us. Like the last 3 years were a footnote. Sophie, nudge me. Don't turn around. She's here. With him. I know, I said, sipping my champagne. I've got eyes. You okay? Never better. She blinked. You're kidding, right? She's with Daniel. After everything. I turned to her with a smile. He looks healthy. Maybe money isn't so bad for his skin. Sophie stared. That's all you've got to say. I glanced across. The ballroom. A sea of wealthy faces under crystal chandeliers. All pretending. What else is there to say? Leona made a choice. Good for her. She told me last week she still loved you. Sophie whispered, and now she shows up with him. I shrugged. Maybe she loves both of us. Or neither. You chased her for years. And now I'm tired of running. Sophie looked at me like I'd grown horns. You're not even angry. I met her eyes. What's the point? She opened her mouth, closed it, then tilted her glass toward mine. You're weird. You know that. I've been called worse. She hesitated. You want to leave? Not yet. I turned back toward the crowd. Leona's laugh rang across the room high, rehearsed, brittle. She was faking it. She always did in crowds. Daniel leaned down, whispered something in her ear. Her smile faltered. She looked over her shoulder. Our eyes met. I raised my glass. She didn't smile. Sophie sighed. You're handling this better than I would. I'm not handling anything. I'm just watching. You ever think maybe she's scared of you? That got my attention. Scared. You don't get mad. You don't fight. You just vanish. That's scarier than yelling. I chuckled. Vanishing is cleaner. Sophie stared at me for a second. You're not just letting this go, are you? I leaned in slightly. Sophie, you think I didn't see this coming? She narrowed her eyes. What do you mean? I sipped my drink. Never mind. She grabbed my sleeve. You knew. I suspected. Months ago. Daniel never left her orbit. I knew the pattern. Then why stay? I looked her straight in the face. Because I needed time. Sophie's brow furrowed. Time for what? But I didn't answer. Across the room, Daniel had one hand on Leanna's lower back, the way men do when they want everyone to know. She glanced back at me again. This time, longer. Her expression was unreadable. Sophie turned. Caught the look. She's not over you. That's not my problem anymore. You're really letting her go. She already let me go. Just catching up. Sophie exhaled sharply. You're cold. Man, no. I'm just done. The music swelled. Some kind of waltz. People began moving toward the floor. Leona didn't. She stood still, watching me. I gave her a small nod and looked away. Sophie leaned on the balcony railing. You think she'll regret it, I think. She already does. Then why not take her back? I faced her. Because she didn't walk away from love. She walked away from trust that doesn't come back. You still love her. I don't know what I feel. But it's not love. Silence hung between us. Somewhere. Champagne glasses clinked. She's not who you thought she was. Sophie said. No. I said. She's exactly who I thought she was. Sophie frowned. Then why chase her for so long? I smiled. Because sometimes the game's worth more than the prize. That made her go quiet. I finished the last sip of my drink, set the glass down. I should go. I said, you sure? Yeah. I've got arrangements to finalize. Arrangements. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you someday. She tilted her head. You're not heartbroken at all, are you? I gave her a wink. Don't ruin the performance. And with that, I walked out of the ballroom, past marble floors and golden walls, past painted smiles and hollow eyes. The game was over and I had already won. Chapter 2. Years of playing the gamete didn't start with love. It started with a handshake. 3 years ago, at the Hartwell Foundation Gala, I stood in front of Richard Hartwell, Leanna's father, gripping a flute of cheap champagne and wearing A suit that cost more than my apartment's rent. You're the tech guy, he said, sizing me up like a hawk does a rabbit. I build systems that don't crash under pressure, I said, which is more than I can say for some hedge funds. He smirked, sharp tongue. I smiled back, sharp results. That's when I first met Liana. She descended the grand staircase in a red dress, every camera turning her way. She didn't look at me once, not that night. But I watched, listened, learned. Over the next few months, I appeared where she'd be fundraisers, board dinners, charity luncheons. Never chasing, always near. We spoke for the first time over flat white coffee in a downtown art gallery. I accidentally bumped into her. You're the tech guy, right? She asked. Only when I'm not pretending to be an art snob. She laughed. That fake but perfect heiress laugh. I can't tell if you're serious. I never am, I said, except when I am. That got a smile. From there, it was a slow climb. She was guarded. Men wanted her money, her name, her bed. I wanted something else. Access. Late nights turned into longer weekends. She began opening up about the pressure of being Hartwell's daughter, about how her father didn't trust her to run anything without training wheels. You ever feel like you're just decoration? She once asked, swirling red wine on a rooftop balcony. All the time, I said. But then I remember I'm the kind of decoration that moves the walls when it falls. She liked that. Over time, she leaned on me more. I became her business eyes. I helped vet deals, connected her with people I trusted, people I owned. Like Marcus, you're doing God's work, he said once over whiskey. She has no clue. She's not stupid, I said. She's sentimental. That's worse. I didn't argue. We built a venture together, Veering, a luxury tech investment incubator. She was the face. I was the foundation. She put me on the board, gave me sign-off privileges, because she trusted me. I told her once, you shouldn't trust anyone in this game. She smiled. I trust you. That was a mistake. The more she fell for me, the more she let go of control. I never touched her accounts, never stole. I didn't have to. I redirected, positioned myself in every deal, became indispensable, invisible. It wasn't hard. Her ex, Daniel, hovered in the background. She told me they were done. I nodded, but I kept tabs on him. He's texting again, she said one night, curled up beside me. What are you gonna do? I blocked him. You sure? I don't know, she whispered. I didn't press. I never did. Pushing made her defensive. Silence made her doubt herself. Marcus asked me one night, you think she'll go back to him? Probably. And you're okay with that? I looked at the dashboard on my laptop. Another asset transferred. Another deal tied to my name. Timings. Almost right, I said. He grinned. Cold, clean. Not long after, she grew distant. I let her drift. Watched from the edge. The night before she left, she asked to meet. We sat in her apartment, surrounded by soft light and silence. I don't know what I'm doing, she said, looking down. You don't owe me anything. I do. No, you don't. She looked at me then. You always say the right thing, because I know you don't want to hear the wrong ones. She reached for my hand. You're the safest thing that's ever happened to me. I pulled away gently. Then maybe I'm not what you need. She didn't cry, just nodded. I'm sorry, she said. I smiled. Don't be. That was our goodbye. She thought I was heartbroken. She thought wrong. I walked away and called Marcus the same night. We're green. Full transfer. By morning, damn, he said. You really did it. I stared out over the city skyline. Not yet. But soon. Chapter 3. Walking away without looking back. Asterisk. The hotel lounge was too quiet for a place that expensive. People whispered like glass might shatter if they spoke too loud. And right in the middle of it, Liana and Daniel. They didn't see me until I pulled out the chair across from them. Daniel blinked. Didn't expect to see you here. I smiled. Likewise. Liana didn't speak. She just stared at me, her fingers wrapped tight around her glass. I looked at Daniel. You always liked my table. He chuckled, but it was nervous. We figured you wouldn't be using it. Liana finally said, "Why are you here?" "Because you didn't return my last message," I replied calmly. "I don't like leaving threads untied." She glanced at Daniel. "There's nothing left to untie." I nodded. "Good. I just wanted to hear it directly." "I thought you understood." Her voice softened. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't." That made her go quiet. Daniel leaned back. "This isn't necessary, man. Just let it go." "I have," I said. They both looked at me like I'd slapped them. I wanted to say goodbye. I continued. "That's all." Leanna's brows furrowed. Just like that. Just like that. No anger. Daniel asked, "No bitter words." I raised my glass to your future. "May it be everything you deserve." Liana blinked. "You're being weirdly calm." "Would it help if I screamed?" I asked. "No," she whispered. "Then calm suits the mood." Daniel squinted. "You know, people don't usually react this way." "I'm not most people." He frowned. "You really don't care. Not in the way you want me to." That shut him up. Liana leaned forward. "You spent yours chasing me, and now I'm tired." I said, "I'm done chasing people who don't want to be caught." She opened her mouth, then closed it. I stood up. "Thanks for meeting me." "That's it?" she asked. I looked at her. "Really looked. You always thought love was the prize, but I was never here for the prize." Her lips parted slightly. "What were you here for?" I smiled. "Peace." Then I walked away. No scene. No storm. Just silence. As I passed the front desk. The concierge nodded. "Leaving already, sir?" "Yes." I said. "The show is over." Outside, the air was cool. City lights blinked like secrets. My phone buzzed. "Marcus, final wire confirmed. You're clear." I didn't smile. Not yet. Not until I turned the corner, slipped into the back seat of the car, and shut the door. Then I let it out. Not a laugh. Not joy. Just the deep exhale of someone who planned every step of the dance and exited before the music ended. Chapter 4. The quiet transferry slid the flash drive across Marcus's desk. "That's the last of it," I said. "Portfolio B, line trusts, fallback accounts." He plugged it into his laptop, eyes scanning the screen, encrypted. "As usual, you say that like it's a bad thing." He grinned. "It's impressive. Annoying, but impressive." I leaned back in the leather chair, watching the city lights from his penthouse window. How long until it's fully moved? Technically, 48 hours. Realistically, he tapped a few keys. "It's already done." I nodded. "Good." He turned to me. "That's it. 3 years of groundwork, and all I get is a good." I looked at him. "You want a plaque?" He laughed. "I want to know how it feels." I thought about that. How did it feel? Like standing at the edge of a chessboard after your opponent surrenders. "You ever build a house of cards?" I said, "just to see if it'll fall when you walk away." Marcus whistled. "You're a different breed, man." She thought she was playing me. "And all along, you were pulling the strings." I didn't answer. Just picked up the bourbon he poured and took a sip. "You gonna miss her?" he asked. I stared into the glass. No, not even a little. She was never the point. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "That's cold." "It's math," I said. "You don't grieve over numbers." He studied me for a moment, then leaned forward. "You know she's going to find out." "I know. And when she does, she'll scream, threaten lawyers, maybe cry." Marcus smirked. "Think she'll come crawling back. She'll come angry. And then," I looked him dead in the eye. "I'll smile." The silence stretched between us. He leaned back. "I almost feel bad for her." "Don't. She trusted you." "And I never asked her to." He tilted his head. "What happens now?" "I go dark." "You mean disappear?" "I mean vanish." He nodded slowly. "Clean exit. Already in motion." He pulled up a document on the screen, an overview of the newly formed shell company. My name wasn't anywhere, but my fingerprints were all over it. Jonathan's wrapping the legal stuff. He asked today. You trust him. He likes money more than loyalty. That makes him reliable. Marcus chuckled. Can't argue with that. I stood and walked to the window, staring down at the world I was about to leave. You know, I said, there's a kind of peace in finishing something completely. You ever think of building something real? Marcus asked behind me, not just taking it apart. I did. When I turned my head slightly. Before I met her, he didn't press. He knew better. Instead, he swiveled in his chair. So what now? Islands, fake passports, the whole spy routine? Nothing that dramatic, I said. I just won't be here when the storm hits. And the money, already offshore. He tapped the screen. Then I guess we're done. Almost. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a sealed envelope. Marcus raised an eyebrow. What's this? Insurance. He weighed it in his hand. If I open this, what happens? Only if I disappear or die. Dramatic. Necessary. He set it down. You've thought of everything. I had to. A pause. You ever plan to come back? He asked. I watched the blinking red lights of a passing aircraft in the sky. No. You think she'll figure it out eventually? And if she comes looking, I smirked. She won't find me. He laughed under his breath. I swear, man, you make James Bond look sloppy. I picked up my coat. Bond didn't know when to walk away. Marcus stood and extended a hand. Hell of a run. I shook it. It's not over yet. Then what is this? The quiet part. I walked out into the night, the city buzzing beneath my feet somewhere. Liana was sipping champagne with a man she thought she knew. And I was gone before she even realized I left. Chapter 5 whispers in the city. Wood days later. I was on every gossip page in the city. Heiress chooses ex over longtime lover. Sources say he walked away without a word. The billionaire who didn't beg power couple no more. Hartwell split raises eyebrows. I didn't call them. I didn't have to dot. Evelyn Sharp did what Evelyn always did, turn silence into scandal. She cornered me outside of a hotel, recorder in hand and that smirk on her face. Tell me, were you heartbroken? She asked sweetly. I don't think about the past, I said. She left you for her ex. People are saying you didn't even fight for her. I paused, looked her in the eyes. What would I fight for? She blinked. Love. Then she was never mine to lose. That made her breath catch. Gold. The article was out by morning. I met Clara Moreno for coffee that afternoon. She wore black sunglasses and too much perfume. You made quite the impression, she said, flipping her phone to show the headline. I said 5 words and caused an earthquake. I stirred my espresso. Wasn't trying to. She laughed. Please, you played it like a violin. What do you want, Clara? She leaned in. Virene's restructuring. Leanna's board is a mess. Rumors of missing assets. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that? I shrugged. I'm retired. She grinned. Sure you are. What do you want, Clara? I want in. On what? Whatever you're doing next. I didn't say I was doing anything. You didn't have to. I stood. You'll be the first call if there's a call. She watched me walk away. Don't forget who believed in you when everyone else was too scared to ask questions. I didn't forget. I just didn't care. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. Sophie, is it true? I ignored it. 5 minutes later, Sophie, Leanna's panicking. She says someone's been moving money behind her back. 10 minutes later, Sophie, please, just tell me you didn't. I turned the phone off. The night, I sat alone at a bar on 51st and Harlow. Quiet place, dark wood, low jazz. The bartender poured me a drink without asking. Rough week. I smirked. Not for me. He raised a brow but said nothing. I checked the news on my phone. The headlines were shifting. Hartwell airs faces. Audit internal shakeup at Veering. Silence speaks louder. The ex who left with grace. They were starting to piece it together. Slowly. I got a call from Richard Hartwell the next morning. Block number. Straight to the point. What did you do? I'm not sure what you mean. You left her. She left first. You knew this would happen. You planned it, Richard. I said, your daughter made decisions. I just stayed out of her way. You stole from her, Di. Never touched her money. Don't play smart with me. Then don't play dumb with me. Silence, he growled. If I find a single connection to you, you won't. Click. I set the phone down, exhaled. The air was starting to shift. In the quiet hours of the night, I stood by my window overlooking the city. Below, people moved like ants, chasing things they'd never hold. Leona was probably calling banks. Daniel was probably yelling. Sophie was probably torn. And I was free. Whispers were turning to winds, and I hadn't even raised my voice. Chapter 6. The first crack call came at midnight. Not a text, not a voicemail, a direct, trembling voice. Where is it? I leaned back on the couch, the city lights flickering beyond my window. Hello to you too, Leona. Don't, she snapped. Don't play games. I know it was you. I smiled. Know what? Virene's books. The accounts. Half of our holdings are missing. You were on the board, she hissed. Don't act innocent. I stepped down weeks ago. You left right before it all collapsed. I did say timing was everything. Silence. Angry breathing on the other end. Do you think this is funny? She whispered. Do I sound like I'm laughing? You used me. I supported. You manipulated me. I advised you. You took everything. I stood, walking to the window. No, Leona. You gave everything. Another pause. This wasn't about love, was it? Depends on the kind of love you mean. I trusted you, and I told you not to. Her voice cracked. You told me you'd never leave. No, I said. I told you I'd never fight for someone who didn't want to stay. She didn't speak. Why did you call? I asked. To scream, to beg, to understand. You won't try me. I took a breath. I spent years chasing someone who didn't know what she wanted, and I stopped the moment I realized I did. You're cruel. I'm careful. This was revenge. This was survival. I loved you, she said softly. You loved the idea of someone who wouldn't hurt you. I made a mistake. Yes, I said. You did. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Daniel's gone. I didn't respond. He left when the press hit, said he wasn't signing up for scandal. Sounds about right. I don't care about him, she said. I never did. But you chose him. I thought you'd wait. I thought you'd see me. She exhaled. What happens now? You move on. And you? I disappear. You're not even sorry, are you? No. I said. I'm free. A long silence followed. Then, if I could take it back, you can't. I didn't mean to destroy you. You didn't. My voice was flat, calm. Final dot, she whispered. I wish things were different. So do I. I said, and hung up. I stared at the dark screen for a long time. She finally saw the crack, but she was looking in the wrong direction. Chapter 7. Watching the fall from across the ballroom, I saw the cracks form in her eyes. Leona stood by the marble fountain, draped in silver, smiling for the cameras. But her smile didn't reach her cheeks, and it never touched her eyes. Daniel wasn't with her. Marcus leaned in beside me. She's alone. I know. Think she'll try to talk to you. I shook my head. Not here. Too many mirrors. She's crumbling. She's pretending not to. He sipped his drink. Feels good, doesn't it? I didn't answer. Not because I didn't feel anything, but because I didn't need to say it. The whispers floated through the gala like smoke. Virene's collapsing. Investors are pulling out. The Hartwells are panicking. Someone bled them dried out. No one said my name. They didn't have to. Later that night, I passed Clara in the hall outside the main floor. Her heels clicked across the marble like a metronome. Still, the ghost, she said with a smile. I raised an eyebrow, still watching. I like power. she said, especially when it doesn't scream. You came to gloat. I came to observe. She handed me a small folder. You'll want to see this. I flipped it open. Financial statements, account closures, internal emails from Veering. She's lost control. Clara whispered. The board's calling for a vote. Already. You really hollowed it out quietly, like a surgeon. I handed the folder back. Keep watching. The show's not over. She grinned down. I'm not going anywhere. At the far end of the ballroom, Leona spotted me. Her eyes froze. I nodded once, calm, cold, distant. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, swallowing whatever words she'd rehearsed. I turned away first, because I could. Marcus caught up with me at the bar. You sure you don't want to rub it in? She's already drowning. And drowning people don't need a push, just silence. He studied me. You feel anything, relief. No satisfaction. Quiet ones last longer. He nodded slowly. You're gonna vanish soon, aren't you? Soon. I'll miss you. You'll have your hands full. He laughed. I always do. The next day, headlines screamed louder than the music at the gala ever could. Hartwell legacy on them. Brink board splits as Veering Freefall's audit reveals gaps millions unaccounted for insiders. Suspect embezzlement, no charges yet filed, Sophie texted me. She's breaking. You really did this. I stared at the screen for a full minute, then replied, no. She did. I got another call that evening. Unknown number. I answered anyway. Is this what you wanted? Her voice was hoarse, raw. No. I said, I wanted to be left alone. You could have destroyed me outright. I didn't. You could have exposed me. I didn't. You could have told everyone what I did. You did that yourself. I lost everything. She said, no. I replied, you gave it away to the wrong person. Twice. She didn't respond. You want revenge? I asked. I want answers. There aren't any. You used me. You ignored me. I loved you. I believe that. And now I believe in consequences. Her breath hitched. Was I really the blind? No. I said, just busy loving a version of me that never existed. Click. I stared at the wall after she hung up. And for a moment, I felt nothing. Not joy, not guilt. Just the steady beat of silence. The city moved on. It always does. People gossip, then forgot the money was gone. But so was I. Exactly how I planned. Chapter 8. The final visit showed up at my door just after midnight. No call, no warning, just a knock. I opened it to find her standing there, makeup smudged, hair a mess, eyes tired and red. Can I come in? She asked. I stepped aside. She walked past me, arms folded tight, as if holding herself together. You look different, I said. I feel different, she whispered. She sat on the couch like she used to. Like muscle memory. I stayed standing. I didn't know where else to go. She said, I doubt that. She looked up. Daniel's gone. The board's voting me out. My father won't take my calls. And I needed to see you. I didn't move. Why? I don't know. Yes, you do. She blinked fast. Because you're the only person who never lied to me. I let out a short breath. That's rich. It's true. No, I said, walking closer. I didn't lie. But I didn't tell you everything. That's not honesty, it's precision. She stood, eyes glossy. I should have chosen you. You did. I said, until you didn't. Her voice cracked. I thought you'd wait. I thought you wouldn't leave. Silence. Then she whispered, can we start over? I stared at her for a long time. No. She swallowed. You really mean that? I do. She stepped closer. After everything. Because of everything. Tears welled. I still love you. I shook my head. No, Leona. You love the idea of me, someone who didn't chase, didn't demand, didn't make you feel weak. I made a mistake. Which one? I asked. Choosing him, leaving me, ignoring every warning I ever gave you. All of them. Too late. Her shoulders dropped. I didn't come for money. I swear. I know. She hesitated. Then why won't you let me stay? I looked her straight in the eyes. Because the only thing worse than being used is letting it happen twice. She froze. I'm leaving tomorrow. I said, gone. For good. I deserve that. I nodded. You do. She turned to leave, then stopped at the door. Was any of it real? Yes, I said. But it stopped being real the moment I became a backup plan. She opened the door, and just before she stepped into the hallway, she looked back. I hope someday you miss me. I didn't blink. I hope. I don't. I said that, then I closed the door behind her, and that was the last time I saw her. Chapter 9, the goodbye she didn't expect me flight was in 4 hours. Everything I owned fit in one carry-on. The rest money, documents, identities were already gone. Locked away, untraceable. I stood by the window one last time. The skyline. Blinked like a dying memory. Then there was a knock. Again. I knew it was her. I opened the door slowly. Liana stood there, wrapped in a coat too big for her. Eyes wide, face pale. You're really leaving, she said. Double quotes, yes. Where? Somewhere. Quiet. She stepped inside, uninvited. I couldn't sleep. She whispered, you'll get used to it. You weren't going to tell me. No, I said. She looked around my half-empty apartment. This place was ours. It was never ours. I said, you were always half out the door. I made one mistake. No, I corrected. You made one choice. That's different. She stepped closer. I know I don't deserve you back. I needed to try. I met her eyes. You're not here for me. You're here for closure. I'm here because I can't breathe. That's what regret feels like. She flinched. I picked up my bag and slung it over my shoulder. She whispered, can't you stay one more night? No, just talk to me. I have nothing left to say. I loved you. I loved you too, I said. And that's what makes this worse. Her voice trembled. So that's it. That's it. She reached out, but stopped herself, then nodded, backing toward the door. I hope, she said quietly, someone breaks your heart the way you broke mine. I gave her a small smile. They won't get the chance. She walked out, didn't slam the door, didn't cry, just disappeared, like I was about to. Chapter 1. The smile and the money. Plane lifted off just before dawn. No announcements. No goodbyes. No one waiting on the other side. Just me. A window seat, and the hum of engines carrying me away from everything. I looked down as the city shrank, lights fading into mist. I thought I'd feel more. Anger, sadness, guilt. But all I felt was calm. My phone buzzed once before I powered it off. Marcus, everything's secure. You're officially a ghost. I smiled. I opened the encrypted app one last time. Offshore accounts. Clean transfers. Holdings locked under names that weren't mine. But the money, every last cent was. And she'd never find a trail. Not through the shell firms. Not through the friend she ignored. Not through the man she thought was weak enough to stay. 3 years of smiling when I wanted to scream. 3 years of patience, of small wins, of silence. I didn't need applause, or revenge, or some dramatic ending. I just needed the door to close behind me. And it had. Somewhere back in that city, Liana was standing in the ruins of her empire, wondering how it all slipped away. She thought I'd be the one broken. But I didn't break. I planned. She chose Daniel. She left me behind. And now I was smiling. And I had the money.